I want to start by telling you something about myself that might make you like me less. And I know that's weird because I'm just starting this and we're maybe connecting for the first time. It's counterintuitive. I should be starting with all of my amazing qualities and getting you to like me. But that's just not how it's going to happen today. I have to share something, and it's kind of embarrassing. I just ask that you give me the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I swear I'm a cool person. I just have my flaws. What can I say? So I'm going to share this with you, and we're going to move on. It's not a big deal, okay? So, am I ready? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm kind of disgusting. This is really embarrassing to share, but I don't have a garbage disposal or a dishwasher in my apartment. So doing the dishes, I think it's 10 times worse than if I had either of those things. I hate doing the dishes. And I know this is normal, right? Maybe you're like, oh my God, me too, Erica. I hate doing the dishes. The problem is that I don't just hate doing the dishes, I refuse to do them. And then, of course, I get to a point where I need clean dishes. So it's kind of like putting the laundry off until you run out of underwear. Not a thing I do. Yes. I do that with dishes. I've literally put off doing the dishes for a week or 2 weeks. I'm so embarrassed to say it has definitely been 2 weeks many times. And I don't do the dishes. And I let it pile up. Now, remember, I also don't have a garbage disposal. So, can you imagine dirty dishes with food sitting on it for 2 weeks? It kind of smells, especially if I had any dairy that week. It is not pretty. And then that's when I go, okay, I need to do the damn dishes. So, I'm disgusting. I'm gross, but I do have a system. So, there's a little bit of a method to my madness, okay? Well, I'm really telling you that to make myself feel better. It's not really a method to my madness, but I have a system when I clean them. So let me just tell you what I do. I categorize everything in full Monica Geller glory. I've got 11 categories. I have all of the silverware over here. And by the way, when you don't do your dishes for 2 weeks, the silverware pile is very large. I really should just get plastic forks, but that's really bad for the environment, so I will not do that. Huge pile of silverware. I've got the Tupperware. I've got the bowls, the plates, the pots and pans. I categorize everything and I get everything neatly ready to be cleaned. And then I get out Netflix. Because if you're going to do the dishes for almost an hour, you need something to pass the time. It's the only thing that gets me excited to do the dishes. So I have my microwave over here, and I put my laptop on top of the microwave. I get Netflix all situated. And then what I do is I turn the hot water on, and I just let it run just for 30 seconds until it gets hot. I need some hot water for my really dirty dishes. And then I hit play on Netflix. So the other day, I chose to watch Gilmore Girls. Okay, where are my millennial girls at? Tell me you watch Gilmore Girls a lot too. I've rewatched it a million times. The reason is I have to put something on Netflix that I have seen a million times. Because when you're doing the dishes, it's hard to focus. I can't watch something I've never seen before because I can't really pay attention. I'm washing dishes and I'm kind of glancing every now and then, mostly listening. So the other day, I get in position, I'm at the sink, I've got my categories all around me ready to bring in. I turn the hot water on, let it get hot, and I hit play on Gilmore Girls. And I wash the dishes. It takes me almost an hour, which is almost, the same time an episode will last. And I do the dishes. And that's my system. Well, the other day, something really crazy happened doing the dishes. So I went back to my system. It had been another week or two since I had done the dishes before. The last time with the Gilmore Girls. And I got in position. I did my method. I categorized everything. I got everything ready. I got my Netflix up on the screen. And I started thinking, what should I watch today? I don't have to watch Gilmore Girls again. Maybe I'll watch The Good Place. That'll take 2 episodes, but what else should I watch? Before I even touch the computer, before I even choose an episode in my mind or hit play, I stand at the sink, I turn the hot water on, I look at the computer, and my brain starts playing Gilmore Girls. I was like, what is happening? My mind had memorized what I did the last time I was in this exact position. The last time I put my feet in front of the sink and my hands ready to wash and the hot water on and my categories all around me, my brain remembered what I did last time. And before I even touched the computer, my brain starts playing the last episode of Gilmore Girls, like literally a tape playing in my mind. And I was like, this is crazy. So I learned that that's actually called associative memory. It's like a memory being associated with a task or an experience. My brain was like, I remember what we do when we do the dishes. We play Gilmore Girls. And it automatically fires a chemical reaction in my brain and replays that tape. It's crazy how this happens. Kind of like if you listen to a song and it immediately takes you to a breakup you had when you were 15 years old. You feel all the feelings. It's the same kind of thing. When the song plays, your brain goes, I remember how we felt when we heard this song 10 years ago. This is how we felt. Let's play that tape. And what you see is that that tape is being played unconsciously. You don't really have a choice in the matter, right? I didn't tell my brain to start playing Gilmore Girls. I wasn't like, hey, let's play it in my mind. I don't even watch it on the TV. So it unconsciously happens. Now, what do you think that means for something like rejection? It's the exact same thing that happens. So the very first time that you were rejected in your life, maybe when you were a child, whatever your reaction to that rejection was, becomes a tape that your brain memorizes and then plays again and again every time you are rejected from here on out. So let me give you an example. When I was a child, when I was in elementary school, I had some friends. They were these great girls. They were my BFF, and we were really good friends. We were really close friends. Well, when we went to middle school in 6th grade, 3 different elementary schools came together and met at the middle school. And so what I learned when I got to that middle school is that those girls that I was friends with, they were the popular girls, and I was not. So when we got to the middle school, the popular girls from all the different elementary schools came together and sat at the same lunch table in the cafeteria. And I didn't sit with them. And that was one of my first real experiences with rejection as a child. I thought 3 things. I thought, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to sit at that table, I'm not good enough to be part of that group, and I'm not pretty enough to be considered one of those popular girls. And so what happened is that those 3 stories that I came up with when I was a child, because I did not have the emotional intelligence to actually handle this situation, those 3 stories are now on repeat my entire adult life every single time I'm rejected. It doesn't matter what happens, my body goes, oh, we were rejected. What do? This is how we feel. Let's play the tape. Okay, you are not good enough. You are not pretty enough. You are not worthy. Let's play that tape over and over. So it literally automatically fires those same stories to my adult life right now. Every time I'm rejected, I'm still feeling whatever I felt in sixth grade when I was 12 years old, feeling rejected by the popular girls. It's kind of like when you're driving a car, unless you're 15 or 16, you're not thinking about which brake is gas and which brake is the brake. Brakes, pedals, that's the word. You're not thinking about which pedal is the brake and which pedal is the gas. When you're driving, you're thinking about so many other things. Maybe you're listening to a podcast or an audiobook. Maybe you're sitting there driving all frustrated at the damn traffic. You're doing all these other things that you're consciously partaking in. You are not consciously partaking in knowing which pedal to hit, but you automatically do it, right? You're constantly hitting the brake, constantly hitting the gas, and it happens on autopilot. It's not something that you are consciously thinking about because you've done it for so long. It's the same thing with rejection. Whatever you felt that very first time you were rejected now becomes a story played on autopilot over and over. Every time, you don't even get a choice in the matter. It's unconscious. So let me tell you how this has played out now in my adult life. So I work in Hollywood, I work in television, and one day I interviewed for a job. It was the TV show Entourage. And I was like, I got this in the bag. I know so many people on the crew. I've actually done work for them before, on the side, small projects. I'm totally getting this job. There's no reason why I wouldn't. And I didn't get the job. I didn't get the job. This other girl, Jackie, got the job. And what did I feel when I didn't get that job? I immediately felt not good enough, not pretty enough, not worthy. Making sure those are 3 fingers. I immediately felt those 3 things. And the pretty enough thing is a weird thing to apply for a job. And it wasn't top of mind, but it's always in the back of my head. I mean, it's something that I've struggled with my entire life from that moment. So I'm feeling these things in my adult life 12 or 13 years after that moment in middle school when I'm rejected from this job. The stories fire in my brain the same way it did all those other years. Now, here's the difference with the adult experience and the child experience. In the adult experience, we get the opportunity to find out the truth. Because when we're rejected, we come up with these reasons of why we're rejected if we don't know why, right? I didn't know why Jackie got the job over me, and so I make up these reasons in my mind. And I got these reasons ready to go, playing that tape anyway. But when you're an adult, you do have the opportunity to find out the truth. Right? So for example, when I was a child with these popular girls, I didn't really understand the truth. And that truth was, I was just gravitating to a new group of friends. I was growing up and I had new interests and my personality was developing. And I met all these people that I had so much more in common with. And so did those girls. And so it really had nothing to do with me being unworthy. If I went and sat at their table, I might feel kind of out of place because I don't have that much in common with them anymore. And now suddenly I have this other amazing group of friends who I'm still friends with to this day that I just had so much more in common with. But when you're 12 years old, you don't have the emotional intelligence to get there. You can't really figure that out. But when you're an adult, you do have that opportunity. So a couple years after I didn't get that job on Entourage, I actually met Jackie. She was awesome. So I had to stop hating her, I had to stop bashing her behind her back because I learned she's an awesome human being and we became good friends and I love her. She told me some things. I found out some things about why she got that job. Number one, she knew more people than I did. She knew producers and other people that worked on that show. So had nothing to do with me. She just happened to know more people. And here's the kicker for the second part. Jackie met her husband on that show. On Entourage, Jackie and her husband both worked on the crew and they met. And today they have 2 kids. And I finally understood that job was just not for me. That job was Jackie's job. She had to be there. It was part of her path. And it had absolutely nothing to do with me not being worthy enough or not being pretty enough or not being good enough. So, how do we change this automatic tape that plays? Because whenever you are rejected in any way, small, big, jobs, relationships, in any way, your mind is going to unconsciously play that tape of whatever stories you were telling yourself back then. The thing is, the way that we change this is that you have to understand that everything you told yourself when you were rejected back then were lies. They were not true. I wasn't unworthy. I wasn't not pretty. I wasn't not good enough. I simply found other friends that were my people. I found a better match. Every time I replay that story in the future, in my adult life, I am telling myself lies. So, in order for us to start changing that autopilot and stop allowing the repeated tape to take over our lives and then, cause a domino effect on whatever actions we decide to take from that space. When we're feeling really low and we have those stories playing, those lies, those old stories, it could lead to destructive habits. It could lead to not taking action anymore. I mean, there are so many things that it could lead to that are destructive in some way. And so how do we stop it? How do we stop that? Well, this is how we stop it. We have to start telling ourselves the truth. You have to start speaking the truth into existence. Right? So the literal truth for me was when I was a child, I just happened to meet people that I was a better match for. And that's really all it was. In my adult life with Jackie, that show was hers, okay? She was meant to be on that show. But then there's this bigger truth. And that bigger truth is that I'm awesome. I am so worthy. I am beautiful. And as I tell my clients, your beauty is your light, your inner light. It has nothing to do with your outer appearance. And I know that my light is beautiful. And I am absolutely good enough to have anything it is that I desire in my life. I am amazing. I'm disgusting, but I'm amazing. And you are too. Start telling yourself the truth. And I promise you, your life will start to look so much different.